Welcome to the deep dive. The sources we've gathered for you today, they're really something. We've got Leo Tolstoy, Ryan Holiday, and even the business mind of Seth Godin.
And they're all circling this one central theme. It's about how to live a life of integrity.
But not in a big abstract way. It's moment by moment.
Exactly. This deep dive is really about the architecture of character. We're not just looking at philosophy as a belief system. It's more of a practical instruction manual.
So what's our mission today?
It's all in this phrase, practice peace, piece by piece. We're going to unpack how the small, daily, unglamorous things you do are really the only true measure of who you are.
I think Tolstoy gives us the perfect place to start. He has this great metaphor of a construction worker.
Oh, right.
Yeah, he says this worker, he can't see the final form or general design of the large structure he builds. He's just, putting down one brick after another.
But he trusts it.
He trusts it. He knows he's working on something good, something beautiful, clever, and necessary. And Tolstoy, he defines that trust, that commitment to the small action as faith.
And that's the foundational concept right there. But what's so fascinating is what he says next, the immediate demand for alignment.
Alignment? What do you mean?
He says that true faith is only really faith if the actions of your life are in harmony with it and never contradict it.
Wait a second. So if faith is defined strictly by action, then every time I choose to be lazy or, I lose my temper or gossip, that's not just a slip-up.
No. According to this, it means those choices are actively contradicting and therefore they're actively dismantling the very structure you claim you're building.
Wow.
We're basically exploring that chasm, the gap between what we say we believe
Yeah.
and what we actually do when we're tired or stressed.
Okay, let's unpack that gap. Because I think our default setting is always to look for validation in words. We talk about our values, we write them down.
We tell everyone what we intend to do.
Yeah.
The sources warn us that this can be a huge trap.
Why, though? How?
Seth Godin has a great take on this. He says people become verbose because they're hiding.
Hiding?
Yeah. If you can talk about your values with enough passion, you can kind of convince yourself and everyone else that you've done the work. It lets you off the hook.
But Godin's a writer. He deals in words. So how do we know when words are a helpful nudge versus, a hiding place?
It's all about the next step. If the words lead right to a tangible, difficult, small action, they're helpful. But if they just lead to feeling good about yourself, they're a hiding place.
And that leads right into his big warning.
It does. Beware of false proxies. Easy to measure, but not true indicators of success. They only serve to confuse.
We fall for that constantly. We chase the metric instead of the meaning. But, in business or even setting personal goals, you have to track metrics. So how do you tell the difference between a necessary metric and a false proxy?
A necessary metric drives you toward the core value. A false proxy, it replaces it.
Okay, give me an example.
Think about the ones the sources give us. You might count your social media followers. That's an easy metric. Instead of, say, measuring the actual depth of your friendships. That's the core value.
Right. Or tracking productivity. How many tasks did I check off?
Exactly. Instead of asking, was the work I did today meaningful? Was it helpful? Did it align with the person I'm trying to become?
That's the whole thing right there. The deed, the actual behavior. It's messy, context-dependent, hard to compare, but it's the only thing that's real.
It is. Tolstoy is so blunt about it. Do not believe in words, yours or others. Believe in the deeds.
And the test for those deeds isn't a spreadsheet.
No, not at all. It's the test of peace.
Yeah.
There's this incredibly powerful Indian proverb that just nails it.
What's that?
During the day, you should behave in such a way that you can sleep at night in peace. And in your youth, you should behave in such a way that you can live in your old age in peace.
That reframes everything. You can fake a productivity proxy, but you can't fake sleeping in peace. That requires real internal alignment.
It demands integrity not as like an aspiration, but as a living, breathing practice built on consistency.
Okay, so if that peace test demands alignment, how do we build the capacity for it? Especially when we're tired or stressed or angry. Which brings us to training.
The practice.
Yeah, and this next instruction is so simple, but it's powerful. Each day, do something you would rather not.
And this isn't about, masochism or making life hard for no reason. This is structured training.
For what?
For your will. When you consciously choose the difficult thing, like making that apology you've been putting off or speaking softly when you really want to snap, you are strengthening what they call the muscle of choice.
It's building a gap.
Yes, The gap between impulse and action.
So it's the daily rep that builds the strength you need for the real crisis later on.
Absolutely. This is what prepares you for the high-stakes moments. John Wooden, the famous coach, he was all about this idea. He said, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare.
You don't rise to the occasion.
You don't. You fall to the level of your training. Whatever you practice day in and day out, that becomes your default setting, your character.
So the goal isn't just a temporary achievement, it's a permanent skill. I love this idea. Don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong.
That's saturation. It ensures the skill is there for you, even when you're under pressure.
And one of the most basic, but universally challenging skills to practice daily is just communication.
So hard. The instruction is so simple. Always speak softly, politely, and truthfully.
That seems like such a tiny thing to focus on every day. But when I think about it, it requires maximum internal resistance.
It's a synthesis of everything we've been talking about. It takes humility to speak softly instead of just, dominating a conversation. It takes discipline to be polite when you're frustrated.
And real integrity to be truthful when a little white lie would be so much easier.
It's a complete act of internal alignment, practiced in the tiniest interaction. It's piece by piece.
So, if integrity is built through these small, difficult acts, like communication, then maybe we need to rethink what the important moments in life even are.
Yes.
Because those moments, the argument, the quick email, they happen in the middle of all the mundane stuff.
And that's exactly why Ryan Holiday tells us to love the little moments.
Yeah.
The morning rush, waiting at a traffic light, running some annoying errand.
Right, they feel like garbage time.
They do. They feel like background noise. But thinking about them that way is totally misleading.
Because we're mistaking incidents for life. There's that quote from Edith Miralles, "Incident piled on incident no more makes life than brick piled on brick makes a house."
1,000 unchecked incidents. That doesn't add up to a character. It's the quality of your presence that turns those incidents into a life.
The traffic light is the perfect modern example.
It really is. Your body is stopped, but your mind is just racing. It's fueled by stress, notifications, your to-do list. You're there, but you're not there. You're living 3 hours in the future.
Which makes that Confucius insight so profound. He says we have two lives, and the second one begins when we realize we only have one.
I love that.
The first life is spent waiting for the real moments to start the vacation, the big promotion.
And the second life.
The second life is realizing that this moment right here, sitting at this red light, this is the real one. There's no dress rehearsal for integrity.
The traffic light is where you do the work. It's the training ground. And we have agency here. Wim Hof has this powerful reframe. He says, life doesn't change, but perception does.
So the external situation, the traffic, the difficult colleague, that stays the same.
It stays the same. But we can change how we respond. We can grab the wheel of the mind.
Okay, but how do you actually grab that wheel when you feel like you're spinning out?
The sources offer the simplest tool there is, the breath.
Breathe.
Just breathing. If you can return to your breath, you can instantly turn away from our fear. You can create the energy we need to complete our work. It's the ultimate reset button. It's always available, and it's completely real. No proxy.
Okay, let's try to integrate all of this. The training, the presence, the breath, under the idea of strategy. Because most of us think strategy is like a financial plan or a 3-year roadmap.
Right, something external.
Right.
But Seth Godin offers this radical redefinition. He says strategy is the philosophy of becoming.
The philosophy of becoming.
Yeah, it completely reframes your day. The question is no longer, what am I achieving? It's, who am I becoming?
So if your strategy is to become a peaceful person, then your daily practice, speaking softly, choosing the harder right over the easier wrong, that is your strategy.
You're laying that little brick of peace right now in this moment.
And if you fall in love with that process, that journey of becoming, then Peter Haggerty says you will be in love forever. That sounds a lot less stressful than constantly chasing a destination.
It is. The goal is the alignment, and that happens now. But this realization requires a really profound humility. Thomas Merton draws a perfect contrast. He says, pride makes us artificial. Humility makes us real.
Pride is about performance.
Yes. Pride insists on performance, on looking the part. Humility lets us just be and simply do the work without any pretense.
And that humility seems absolutely essential when you're trying to influence or teach someone else. If you try too hard, you just get in the way.
Exactly. Godin says, as a teacher, you want to present the smallest nudge possible. Anything more is interrupting the pedagogy of learning.
So that restraint, that light touch, is actually an expression of
It's
faith.
an expression of faith in the student and in the process itself. Because as Lao Tzu warns, those who have weak faith themselves cannot arouse faith in others. You can't give away the peace you don't actually have.
It's the smallest nudge, the softest speech, the quietest action. Those are the real signs of integrity. Because they're real.
And all of this work, the training, the presence at the traffic light, the humility, it all has to converge on one single organizing principle. The sources call it the principal ingredient of life,
Love.
love.
But this isn't like a sentimental thing. This is love as a utility, right? As integration.
Completely. Buddha defines happiness as coming when your work and your words are of help to yourself and to others.
Ah, notice the integration there.
Exactly. Securing your own peace, that's the work. Has to result in being helpful to others, that's the words. It's a genuine circulating process.
And John Ruskin ties it all together by insisting on the absolute primacy of this principle. He says, those who give second place to God in their hearts do not give him a place at all.
Whether you use the word God or love or integrity, if it's just one priority on a long list, it's basically sidelined. It has to be the foundation, the ground on which every single brick is laid.
So the foundational reality then is that this cathedral we're all building is invisible. It's made of choices and attention and breath, not performance and not false proxies.
And we have to stop measuring the easy things that just end up confusing us, the follower count, the minutes we meditated, and start living the true values.
Which means doing the difficult thing each day, speaking softly, returning to the breath when fear shows up.
And treating the little things as the big things, because really they're the only things we can actually control.
So we have a final thought for you to chew on this week. The sources suggest we should breathe in peace and breathe out blessings to all.
Now, if love is the required organizing principle for our daily actions, for those small bricks we lay, what previously difficult daily choice, maybe apologizing or having a challenging conversation, how would that choice be transformed if you consciously tried to breathe out a blessing to the other person while you were doing it?
Just consider the power of that tiny internal realignment. That's where true integrity begins. Thanks for joining us for the deep dive.
We'll talk to you next time.